Hey guys, welcome to Inspire Chemistry, and today we are doing a very important video. And so many of you will be doing your, like, everybody has to do their dissertations in masters, project in masters, and of course some of you will be pursuing PhD or would like to pursue PhD. So everybody has to go a dissertation in their masters. For that, our new candidates who will be joining into IITs or any research project, or even if you're studying a central university and currently in masters, you need to think of your project, your MSc project, or your dissertation. So in order to do that, you have to first decide your research field. So today's video will be based on this the two frontiers in chemistry. Basically, the research today is bifurcated in two branches. So although there are a lot of branches, but to be very big in criteria, these are divided into two branches, namely the chemical biology and the materials chemistry. Okay. So before starting the video, I would like you all guys to join our WhatsApp group, and you can also follow us on FB and Instagram pages. So what we do here is that we continuously share things on our FB or Instagram or WhatsApp groups regarding research activities going around the globe, and that's why you need to be there, and you will find a lot of information and knowledge related to other things there in our group. So you are always welcome to our group, and we'll post the link in the description box. And one more thing, we have as I'm particularly oriented to research things in the channel, I would like you to see a channel on YouTube which named as SupraChem Freak. Okay, the name of the channel is SupraChem Freak, and they're making they have made a very important video on supramolecular chemistry, and many of you may be knowing that the supramolecular chemistry itself won 2 direct Nobel Prizes, and of course it makes a real deal in research areas, because it involves all the interactions and very fast and easy to break, easy to form interactions which are very important in your body, and which really goes on, which has been inspired in fact from your DNA and other self-healing things in your body. Okay, so let's start the video. So in your master project or dissertation, you need to work under a professor, right? So you need to find your professors in IIT, and I've already told you guys to if you have a particular interest in a research field, you can always choose those IITs in your JAM counseling, so that if you need to go to a particular professor and do your project in a specified field, although it majorly depends on the professor. Like, you cannot be very specific, sir, I want to work in this. It depends on him, what he is pursuing, what he has in his mind, but you can always be selective of the field. Okay, so I'll make a separate video onto this, how to search your supervisors for masters as well as PhD, how to go about the research. Okay, so first question that comes in our mind is why to do research. Okay, so in this current situation, if you look, when we are all in lockdown, and I guess not just us, the whole world is under the lockdown, and so we are the researchers are the one that the whole world is relying on. Correct, because there's no doctors. We all have respect for our frontline warriors, doctors, policemen, everybody, and doctors doctor take care of the patient, putting their life on the lines, and they test those medicines which have been in the market long before and are being used for other medical issues. Okay, but now everybody is expecting researchers to make some vaccines, or at least some medicinal organic molecules which can fight to this virus. Okay, so being a researcher is something like a creator of knowledge. You make something for the betterment of society, and to be honest, it's a much more sorted life than rushy life in IITs and other places. So you are the creator, you want to do something for the whole world, you want to bring out some phenomena of nature that nobody have ever seen, and that gives you sense of satisfaction. And it actually requires a lot of intellect and your coordination with your team and other research groups, collaboration with other research groups in the same specified field. Okay, so the chemistry field is the research today is basically bifurcated into branches, as I told: chemical biology and materials chemistry. So in order to go about a research, you need to think of something. Like, I want to do research in this. Many in bachelor, in up to 12th, you don't understand how the chemistry is bifurcated into organic, inorganic, and physical. Really, like 2 months, it's a cognitive thing there. But when you come to bachelor's, you understand that organic, inorganic, and these things are different. Like, they are always connected, but they are distinct in some sense. When you come to research, you need multidisciplinary things, actually. Not just chemistry, organic, inorganic, physical. Not just that, you need physics, you need biology. You need to collaborate, you need to work together in order to produce something new. Okay, so first of all, I would like to mention about the chemical biology. So chemical biology, as the name suggests, is the amalgam of chemistry and biology, basically employed to your bodies or human beings or the health sector. Okay, so as defined by I've searched to various sites to find a definition, because it will always be helpful. So I'm not stating the definition, but it actually means the application of analytical techniques, synthetic chemistry or medicinal chemistry, supramolecular chemistry, bioinorganic chemistry, pharmacology, genetics, and metabolic biochemistry in field of biology. Correct, in field of biology. So how do you do it? So let's just take examples of people working in enzymes. Okay, so there was a paper recently, there are a lot of papers, that how this COVID virus 19 has this RNA polymerase which is responsible, and if we can shut this by inhibiting this through a particular enzyme, we can actually stop the COVID-19 getting converted into a big issue into the body. So that all comes under chemical biology. Okay, and starting with let's say supramolecular chemistry, I've already told you to subscribe to know more about supramolecular chemistry, which is very, very important. You can always subscribe to the channel which was SupraChem Freak, and there are researchers across the world who work on drugs for different things, for COVID-19, for HIV, for other things, for other viruses, bacteria. They make organic molecules, and to be honest, it requires enormous efforts to just reach a molecule which is good enough for let's say clinical trial. Clinical trial means a trial done on human beings in order to find and acquire more knowledge about the drug you synthesize and how it works, what side effects it has. Okay, so first of all, it's really difficult to do organic synthesis. Organic synthesis in a specified field to produce a specific molecule. Lot of organic molecules have their functional groups behave differently in different conditions. They behave differently in body, and all this is very complex. And there are papers where you find that researchers have already, one research group tries about 1,000 or 1,500 molecules, and just one of them makes a clinical trial, and that also doesn't work on human body correctly. It's hard. That is what chemical biology does. There have been numerous Nobel Prizes, there have been some enormous prizes for those drugs, right? So these are very, very important. And so these all comes under medicinal. Your aspirin, the drugs you take when you have fever and all these stuff, they have a particular mechanism. You bring insights into the mechanism, you bring insights how different molecules or the class of molecules can be developed to perform better in animals, in humans. That's how this chemistry works. And other thing is that there's a lot of major research focused on bioorthogonal things like reactions, which can, if you want this to be like, if you want to acquire more knowledge of it, if you find this very fascinating, go look for bioorthogonal reactions on Google and Wikipedia, read whatever you want. You'll find that there have been reactions, very limited reactions in the which can be performed in body, and there's something called as the click reaction, also won a Nobel Prize for that. Click reaction, you can Google, you might, a lot of people might be knowing, and this is one of the reaction which can actually employed in your body. There have been some Diels-Alder reaction which can actually employed in the body. And I remember when I joined the institute JNCSR, our professor asked us, can you write can you just name a reaction which can be employed, organic reaction which can be employed in your body. I've read a lot of organic chemistry. Our friends have read a lot of organic chemistry, but none of us were actually able to answer this question. So what is the use of what you're reading? You do reaction mechanisms, you learn reactions, you know that how these things are work. What is the use? What's the use of learning if you just want to solve the question, get your exams out? Doesn't matter. It really freaks me out why people are just remembering or doing mechanism that gives nothing to the society, nothing for the betterment of people. It is just useless. That is what actually seems to, although it involves a lot of intellectual things, but it's actually useless if you just read it and don't use it. So there have been very, very limited reactions which can actually which can actually be considered to be done in your body, because your body is so complex. If you make some drug or something, you want it to perform a specific function, you need to think, how will I encapsulate this drug into what material, how will it go into my body, how will this dissociate, how will this travel to the specific site I want it to act on, will this be dissociated, will this be hydrolyzed? There are different conditions in different part of the body. If it will take a lot of time to work by the time it's excreted, and there have been numerous challenges in this field. So people are working for it, and believe me, if you're very regular, you know that in organic chemistry, if you look at the high impact journals, the research articles, all of them relates something to the chemical biology, organic things mostly. Not all of them, but yeah, most of the reactions does relate themselves to how these can be performed in some utilized manner. That is what is very important, actually. So that's much about chemical biology, and it involves drugs and studying of diseases, how reaction mechanisms, how things work in your body, the chemistry behind it, because after all, everything in universe is made of atoms, quarks, everything. If you go to atomic level, there's chemistry alone. Okay, so chemistry is very important to understand, and that's why researchers are here. The second field is the materials chemistry. So in materials chemistry, as the name again suggests, it's based on materials. So you actually create materials, you understand their properties, you bring it to application. So let's just take an example of this light here. So it gives you phosphorescence, it gives you some glowing materials, there's fluorescent materials that people have studied it. You have now CFL has replaced all those bulbs which were there that consumed a lot of energy. Now we have another energy, different energy sources to give us light and fulfill our needs. So all these comes under materials. So let's just say the another thing, how material chemistry is different from chemical biology. So let's say you have Parkinson's disease. So Parkinson's disease is actually one of the most concerned disease in the world, and a lot of people in the world are affected by it. So there's something called the L-dopamine, which is responsible, and there have been numerous papers on asymmetric synthesis of L-dopamine and other. So how do you deliver the drug? You all have had medicines. Now you look the medicines, they have this capsules now, which you capsules or something like medicine. It's not the whole drug which you take, just keep in mouth and swallow. They're coated with some things that protect it to get hydrolyzed in your tongues. They want the drug to be delivered to your stomach and then be directed to the specific site. So the material in which, let's say the capsule is made of some organic material that and into which this chemical biology drug is encapsulated, and then it acts together. You're getting me? The outer shell is the material. The inner material is made from the chemical biology, is the drug which will do its work. So material basically meets all the matter you look around, their properties, and how they can be utilized in some application based sense. So the current fields which are always been in the highlights are of course catalyst for let's say Haber's process. And if just to be giving more information to you, if you ask any researcher what has been the best reaction for, let's say, 80 years now, most of them will answer the very simple, the very, 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 very effective Haber's process. Can you believe it? Haber's process, ammonia production. Yeah, it is one of the most important reactions in the world for like 80 years now. If you can produce ammonia in some other fashion, like other than there are some enzymes which can do it, if you can do it more efficiently than Haber's process, or let's say these things, like there should be a considerable they should have considerable efficiency and catalytic activity. You deserve a Nobel Prize for that, for this simple reaction. So let's just go. So that was about catalysis. Then there comes sensors. There have been some molecular dynamics, quantum effects. Like most of you, like we have this quantum internet coming towards us. Energy harvesting is the major application. Like world is all. If you look at the research today, it's basically biased towards energy conservation and energy production. Then there have been materials to do that, nanomaterials, perovskites, a lot of things. So material chemistry involves not just chemistry, it involves physics. Because if you go deep and deep, everything relates to electrons, their motion, other fundamental particles, and that is what is explained by quantum mechanics. And it's for me and for chemistry people, usually it's difficult to understand the quantum physics, quantum physics of the materials. And physicists do help you in this. They have their theoretical insights, they have their computational inputs to deliver a model which you can use, and they form an integral part of your materials chemistry. So material chemistry is about chemistry, it's about mathematics, it's about quantum, it's about application and engineering. You can't just give, like there are researchers who does the natural sciences, they deliver concept, then there are physicists who give their theoretical inputs to that paper, giving that insights, extra insights, which let other people believe, yeah, this is true because we have a theoretical calculation behind it. Then there are researchers and engineers which works as a bridge which takes your natural concepts and brings transform it engineeringly to the world, so that all of us can use it. Correct. You look at lights, there have been some numerous materials used in chemical compounds used in material, but it would have been not useful if there wouldn't have been any research engineer who would have converted it to your light. So it's all very important. And another field, the chemical biology and materials chemistry, form the two major fields in this chemical frontiers. And majorly, one very exciting thing is the computational physics and computational chemistry, theoretical physics, theoretical chemistry. So, as many of you know, that graphene won a Nobel Prize in 2010, and most, I guess, very few of you will know that graphene, graphene was theoretically predicted in 1947. Yes, you heard it right. Graphene was actually theoretically predicted in 1947. It was just that it was really difficult to synthesize these materials into lab. Correct. So physics people give their theoretical calculations, quantum, they have their programmings, they have some software, quantum softwares, which can help you develop some compounds in a specific way for some specific application. You don't need to, let's say you work on compound A, B, C. It's really difficult to produce every compound, so you can't go on C, D, E, F, G. It's really difficult. So what researcher, theoretical physicists do, theoretical chemists do, they make materials in their computer. They have insights about it. Is this going to perform good in the lab? Does it have some unique property which can bring this material out? Is it really worth me to produce this material in the lab or not? So that is all which is explained by these theoretical background people. There have been some, you must have heard about theoretical organic chemistry. People are already using these, making molecules and vaccines into their labs, and they have. So if you're constant about this research, you might just have come across those papers coming now in relating to COVID-19, where researchers have tried numerous materials made on computer, which can, if we are able to synthesize, can actually work effectively against COVID-19. So they have COVID-19 mortal mechanism in their computer. They have the a substrate molecule, the molecule we're considering to fight. They have the interaction in computer. They see if it will work, if it has enough interactions to work this out or not. So it's really a fascinating field, and you can actually do a lot of things in this. So there have been several Nobel Prizes in theoretical. You must have this heard about density of states and this molecular dynamics, ab initio calculations. All of them have won several about Nobel Prizes in both physics and chemistry. Correct. So material chemistry basically have won a lot of Nobel Prizes in chemistry and physics, thus materials engineering. And if you look at chemistry Nobel Prizes specifically, so these usually, what trends suggest to me is that people are concerned about health, and most of the Nobel Prizes are given to the chemistry relating to the human body and betterment of people as well as the society, all our animals, environment, and whomsoever concerned in this field. Okay, so both of these fields are very fascinating, very interesting, and that's why I ask you to please put your steps into research and create new knowledge to the world. So that's all for it, and again I would like to remind you to follow us on different pages so that you get inputs into these. And that's all for today. If you have any questions, please comment in the description box so that we can answer you. And I really want all of you who have some interest in chemistry, who want to take your chemistry to do something for betterment of you, for society, this is the place to be. And life is amazing. You would feel amazing to do something betterment of society. And I can, as it is said, I was just telling you about this COVID-19 thing, and the researchers in those who will be able to find the vaccine of COVID-19 really deserve a Nobel Prize for the next year. If that is the importance of researchers. So that's all for today. Stay tuned. If you like this video, please press the like button. Let us know how did you feel about it, and keep sharing so your friends are also benefited from this video. Thank you.